Hey everyone, welcome to another YouTube painting process video. As usual, please like this video and subscribe to this channel as it helps me quite a bit to push onwards to creating more of these videos, which hopefully you guys find to be helpful for your artwork journey. This time around, I'll be painting Mina from Deadlock, which is a new Valve game that technically isn't out yet, but it got a bit of fanfare on social media, so I figured to create a little bit of fan service for the community. Anyways, I wanted to use this video to talk about something that I often complain about on my social media, and I wanted to clarify some things because I feel like in the short form social media messages, I don't really describe exactly my thought process to what I'm talking about. And it's the idea of trying to stop yourself from mystifying the idea of art. This is very common because I know even when I was growing up that there is an idea of seeing art as this insanely talent only thing that you can do in the world. It seems insurmountable to reach the skill level of professional artists. And adults would tell kids that if you're not born with the talent, then you can't do this, and you're just never going to get it. The other mystification of art is what the definition of art is. In this video, I'm going to talk about specifically about this second part of the mystification of art. Because I know if you're watching this, you're probably not dumb. You understand that art is something that is learned. Now, there are going to be talented people, but you can always learn the technical side of art with enough practice. And talented people without practice won't get far in this industry anyways. That's really all there is to it, to the first mystification of art. So there's not much to talk about there. However, the second part is the one that will be the primary topic here because it's the lesser known of it, and it's something that even professionals often fall into from what I know from talking to artists. So I'm just going to use this video to explain my thought process on this. Now, I won't pretend to be an art historian. So in terms of specific artists and dates and such, just forgive me, I'm not going to be too detailed about it. I'm just going to be talking in vague terms. For those who have taken any art classes, you may have been taught a term called kitsch. What kitsch is a term to describe what is seen as campy commercial slop comparatively to what is considered real art in the world. As you can probably imagine, this sort of separation of definitions creates a mystification of art. We revere this side of art where it's clearly defined as high-end art, and we should respect it, whereas kitsch is stuff that, you put on plates and something to just decorate your walls with. Now, there is an element to that, but I wanted to mention that, especially in this era, we have since broke the barriers of what the two definitions are. In fact, in the 1900s, we specifically had movements like the Dadaism and abstraction art that was meant to break the definition of what true art is. Pop art is another one, by the way. Now, regardless of what you feel about the technical side of things for those art, which are often pretty terrible, to be honest, we've had urinals be treated as art, so to speak. Regardless of that, those artists broke that barrier, the border between kitsch and true art. And if you think about it, the reason why we have this gatekeeping in the first place is because there's all these elite curators who first defined what is considered real art or not. If you're not a chosen artist doing styles that they like, then you won't be featured in their shows and galleries. So that sort of thing is historically what we define as real fine arts and what isn't art. Most famously, you could imagine someone like Vincent van Gogh having a ton of trouble getting approved by these curators in his lifetime, which is why he mostly died impoverished. So given that we are in the modern era where digital media has allowed us to distribute and showcase our art beyond needing these gatekeepers, the audience can get to decide what is the true demand of certain artwork, rather than just being curated by these specific people. In fact, a lot of what we see as kitsch, so stuff like really lowbrow stuff, those ultimately became movements to defy the high-end, the highbrow art in our world. And to push this point even further, a lot of the artwork that we revere nowadays, or whatever you see from, let's say, Rembrandt or William Bouguereau and those types of master fine artists with insane technical skill, a lot of them were commissions from the church and noblemen. So if you want to talk about kitsch and how they're just commercialized art and such, a lot of the paintings that we understand as real art were actually just commercial art in their heyday. So point being, we shouldn't really get too caught up with mystifying what is real art or not and gatekeeping people on what they want to draw. In the internet era, you're going to find an audience for a lot of different styles that people have. So again, you're not going to have to go through the same curators in order to even get any exposure. We're way beyond that point. Our tastes as an audience have evolved to appreciate and respect different industries and styles. So I gave you a very quick and vague history lesson. So what's the practical meaning behind all of this? And why does it matter for you? To put it simply, one of the mistakes that I see a lot of people make is they overthink about whether something feels too commercialized or too much selling out. And it hinders people from just drawing and painting what they like. There's an analysis paralysis when it comes to this sort of thing, where people who are still developing their styles might get caught up with thinking too hard about whether this sort of audience would think it's real art or not, and that sort of stuff. I honestly haven't heard the idea that you're not a real artist if you're selling art and you're selling out to markets and stuff since over 15 years ago, back in my days of high school. And honestly, a lot of times, the critics are the ones who haven't found a style that people like, and they want to sort of put people down. Oh, they're just selling out. You're just selling out. You're not really being a real artist. I'm being a real artist by just drawing true to my soul and such. Honestly, that sort of thing is just dumb to me, to be honest, and especially in this economy, I'm not going to judge how you make your money. We're all struggling these days, so it's better off just accepting what you like to draw for your own personal mental well-being, and as well, if it also pays the bills, then whatever, right? The audience will figure out whether your work is worth paying for and see it as real art. Going into my final point, we've even gotten AI in art now, which means that any type of human art is seen as a higher regard in the face of AI art. And at least as of the making of this video, I feel the community at large has a lot more respect of human art, regardless of what your style and subject matter is, than any form of AI art currently. When it comes to technology and trends and that sort of thing, they're constantly developing. And there's no real point to gatekeep yourself and others by trying to mystify this meaning and definition of what art is. So as usual, don't let this sort of thing hinder you. Just draw what you enjoy and what others may enjoy coming from you. If there's one main major lesson that I like to tell people is just to stop overanalyzing and mystifying this concept of art. Now, it is something that I love to do, but I also don't want to delude myself and others into thinking that this is some insane talent that I have. I'm honestly not special at all. And a big part of how I improved my work was to stop seeing it as a special thing and just treating it as a skill that you learn. And that there's no style that is seen as highly more regarded as the definition of real art than others. You hold yourself back when you do so, and just don't think about it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, like this video, subscribe to this channel. It helps me a lot, and I greatly appreciate all the support that I can get on this YouTube channel. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.